very dreadfully nervous. I have been and am. But why would you say that I am mad?
The disease had sharpened my senses.
Enough destroyed, not dulled them.
Above all was the sense of hearing accused.
I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth.
I heard many things in hell.
How then am I mad?
Hearken and observe how helpfully,
How calmly I can tell you the whole story.
it is impossible to say when first the idea entered my brain. But once conceived, it haunted me day and night.
Object, there was none.
Passion, there was none.
I love the old man.
He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold, I had no desire.
I think it was his eye.
It was his eye.
His eye? Yes, it was this.
He had the eye of a vulture.
A pale blue eye with film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever.
Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me.
You should have seen how wisely I perceived.
What caution? With what foresight? With what dissimulation? I went to work.
I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it.
Oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed.
Closed, that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly.
Very, very slowly.
So that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me a whole hour to place my head within the opening. So far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed.
Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously.
Oh, so cautiously. Cautiously. For the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye.
And I did this for 7 long nights.
Every night, just at midnight.
But I found the eye always closed. And so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me.
But his evil eye.
And every morning, when day broke, I went boldly into the chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone, and inquiring how he passed the night.
So you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed. To suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night,
I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch has been at hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own power, of my sagacity.
I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph to think that there I was, opening the door, little by little, and he, not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts.
I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, or he moved on the bed, suddenly,
as if startled. Now, you may think that I drew back.
His room was black as pitch with a thick darkness, for the shutters were closed for fear of robbers, and so I knew that he
fastening.
And the old man sprang up in bed,
Crying out, "Who's there?"
and kept quite still and said nothing.
For a whole hour, I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime, I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed, listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches of the wall.
Presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was a groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh, no.
It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with this dreadful echo. The terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt. I pitied him. Although I chuckled at heart.
I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned to the bed. He had been trying to fancy his fears causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself,
It is nothing but the wind in the chimney.
It is only a mouse crossing the floor.
Or,
It is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp.
Yes.
He had been trying to comfort himself, but he had found all in vain. All in vain, because death, in approaching, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of this unperceived shadow that caused him to feel.
Although he neither saw nor heard.
To feel the presence of my head within the room.
when I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a little.
A very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length, a simple dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot across the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye.
It was open.
Wide open. I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw with perfect distinctiveness all the dull blue with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing of the old man's face or person.
For I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely on the damned spot.
Now, this is the point. Fancy me back. Once again. Now I say, there came to my ears a low,
Dull, quick sound.
Such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton.
And I knew the sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury as a drum stimulates a soldier to courage.
But even yet I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye.
Meantime, the hellish touch of the heart increased.
It grew quicker, and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme.
It grew louder, I said. Louder every moment. Do you mark me while I've told you I'm nervous?
So I am.
And now, in the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me into uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor.
the old man's hour had come.
I leaped into the
the heartbeat all with a muffled sound.
This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length, it ceased.
The old man was dead.
I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I put my hand on the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more.
If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night rained, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head, and the arms, and the legs.
I then tore off 3 plates from the floor of the chamber, and deposited all between the scantons. I relented to place the board so cunning, so cleverly, that no human eye,
Not even his.
Could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too worried for that. A tub had caught all.
When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door.
I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear?
There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night.
Suspicion of foul play had been aroused.
Information had been logged in the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises.
I smiled, for what had I to fear?
I bade the gentleman welcome.
The shriek, I said, was my own dream.
The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all through the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber.
I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my own confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues. And while I, in the wild audacity of my own triumph, placed my own chair upon the very spot beneath which I reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. I was singularly at ease. They sat in, while I answered cheerily. They chattered of familiar things.
Before long, I felt myself getting pale, and I wished them gone.
My head ached and I fancied a ringing in my ears.
But still they sat, still chatted.
The ring continued and became more distinct.
I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued to gain emphasis, until at length I found the noise was no longer within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale.
I talked more fluently with a heightened voice.
Yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound.
Much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton.
I gasped for breath.
And yet the officers heard it not?
I talked more quickly.
more vehemently.